This is section 4.5, continued, comparing expressions and equations. So part C of example number 31, we see an equal sign. Equal sign means equation. So equations, the first thing that we want to do with them is we want to simplify them. So our first answer for problem number 31 is that this is indeed an equation. So that's 31's answer. Now we're going to start example of 32 by distributing the 1/3 through here. So we have 2x plus 1/5 is equal to 1/3 times x, which is a 1/3 x, plus 1/3 times negative 1/3, which is a negative 1/9. Now the next thing we need is that LCD. So we're looking at all the denominators to find the LCD. So we have 5, 3, and 9. The LCD turns out to be 3 squared times 5, in other words, 45. So we have multiply every single term by that LCD 45, and we're doing it symbolically first, then we'll cancel, then we'll multiply it out. And it doesn't matter which side we multiply on, multiplication is commutative. So 2 times 45 gives us 90x, and then the next one, 5 goes into 95, 9. 1 times 9 is 9, and then that equals 3 goes into 45, 15 times. 15 times 1 times x is 15x, and then 9 will go into 45 5 times. Negative 1 times 5 is a negative 5. No fractions left in that. Our next step is to get the x's together. We're going to move the 15 to the left by adding its opposite. So we have a negative 15x added to both sides. And now this gives us a 75x is plus a 9 is equal to a negative 5. And so our next task is to move the constants together. So we're going to move that 9 to the right-hand side. So now we have 75x is equal to a negative 14. And then our next step is to multiply by the reciprocal of the numeric coefficient. So multiplying by 70, or dividing by 75 is what that looks like. And that gives us x is equal to a negative 14/75. Remember that 75 is made of 2's, 3's, and 5's. There are no 2's, 3's, or 5's in 14. So what we have is our x is equal to this. Now I'm out of room, so I kind of scrunched that up. X is equal to negative 14/75. Now our last example here, you do not see any equal sign there. This is an expression. So this expression we can't solve by clearing this. We're not even solving it. We're simplifying it only. And guys, we gotta deal with the fractions. So we're going to distribute this fraction here and here. And so we have 2/3 x plus 1/5 x, and then plus a negative 2/15. But guess what? These things have to be combined, but you can't clear them. You have to build the higher terms and combine them together. So I'm going to make each of these into the least common denominator of a 15, and I'm going to be able to add them together then. So 3 times 5 and 5 times 2. That's going to give me my new higher terms. So I have 10/15 there. 3 times 5, so 3 times 1, so new higher term there. And then the negative 2/15 comes along for the ride. Next, we have 10 plus 3, which is 13/15, and those are x's. And then we have plus a negative 2/15, or subtract a 2/15. And that's as good as it gets. There's no clearing this one. It's got fractions in it. It's an expression. It's going to have fractions no matter what we do. You've got to realize the difference between what we did in Part C and what we've done in Part D. Equation in Part C, and expression in Part D. Get rid of the fractions in Part C. No getting rid of fractions in Part D.